And hello to Dr. Zorina. My name is NAJIHAH, and today me and my partner, Dania and Natasha, will be presenting about our finding on set-sided social linguistic approaches. Before we go deeper into our finding, let me introduce you to our politician of choice, which is set-sided. So who is set-sided? Set-sided is a passionate young Malaysian politician who has been a member of parliament for MUA since May 2018. He also one of the founding member of political party MUDA. So today we will be presenting our finding on his speeches from two different settings, which is one from parliamentary sessions and one in a informal setting of TEDx forums. So from our finding, we found out that Sadiq used two basic social language terms in his speeches. The first one is register. So what is register? Register refers to various forms of language used in specific social settings. So as a young politician, Sadiq often used informal register when making informal speeches in front of youth. He can be seen using variations like code switchings during his text and speech to demonstrate a familiar term to the younger audience when sharing his experience as a young politician to the audience. The second social linguistic term that's used is power dynamic. So what is power dynamic? Power dynamic is the balanced power between two or more people when they are communicating. So when communicating, politicians usually push this process of this power dynamic. So from Sadiq's speeches, we can see that he exercised this power dynamic when questioning Prime Minister about the national concerns to demand answer and assurance that Malaysian citizens get the right answer that they deserve. Moving on, that will be showing the social variation that we found from our finding. Okay, there are a few social variations that can be seen from such studied species. However, there are two things that play the most important role in his speeches. The first one is social situation. So we know that parliament is usually held in formal settings. It is institutional based settings where politicians and parliamentary chairmen are making law of our country. In contrast, the social setting of the forum is more straightforward and casual as the audience are mostly the young people. And next one's the purpose of the speeches. So the purpose of parliamentary question sessions was to pose questions about national concerns to Prime Minister. On the other hand, the purpose of the forum was to inform the young people about his experience as politicians, showing that he wants the people to understand his experience as a young politician better. And next, I'm passing the baton to my pair to explain more about our finding on his speeches.
Hi everyone! Okay, for this part, I will explain the sociolinguistic elements found inside Sadiq's speeches, especially during his parliamentary session and TEDx talk. Firstly, we analyzed language and place in the parliamentary setting. The language is formal and structured because it involves national matters and policy making. Said Sadiq uses assertive language to represent the people and to challenge authority, especially when questioning the Prime Minister. This formal setting influences him to speak with power and professionalism. On the other hand, during the TEDx forum, the place was in a university, which is a more casual and youthful environment. Here, his speech becomes more relaxed, filled with code switching and informal tones. He uses a relatable style to connect with the young audience, to show how place influences language choice. Secondly, we looked into language and social structure. In Parliament, the social structure involves politicians and lawmakers, so there's a hierarchy. Sadiq, although young, must align his speech to fit that structure, organized, clear, and respectful, yet firm. Meanwhile, in the forum, the structure is more horizontal. It's speaker to audience, so Syed Sadiq speaks more like a mentor or peer. He shares personal stories and uses humor and everyday language. These shifts reflect how language adjusts based on social roles and relationships. Okay, next we will go through the ESG with a social focus. Now, let's relate these to ESG that focusing on the social aspect. Syed Sadiq's speeches clearly support ESG social objectives like youth inclusion, equality, and active civic participation. His approach emphasizes that young people have a voice and deserve a seat at the table, especially in national conversations. By adjusting his register and using inclusive language, he ensures transparency and accessibility, making political topics more understandable and appealing even to the younger generation. This supports social goals like diversity, empowerment, and better living standards, which are core values in the ESG framework. His efforts show how language is not just communication, but also a powerful tool for promoting social change. Next, the last but not least is conclusion. To conclude our sociolinguistic case study on Syed Sadiq's speeches reveals how language reflects power, place, and people, whether in a formal parliament or an informal university forum. His choice of language shifts strategically to fit the context and the audience. Through this, we see how power relations and register are key concepts in social linguistics. At the same time, his style supports ESG social goals, especially by empowering youth and promoting transparent governance. In short, Syed Sadiq does not just speak. He connects, he empowers, and he represents a new wave of politicians who understand the value of language in building a better and more inclusive society. That's all from us. Thank you.